Hello, good evening to you all. I think our moderator is having issues with her microphone. If you can hear me, kindly give me a thumbs up. Or just respond if you can hear me. Right. So I think we're good to go. Our moderator seems to be having a challenge. All right. Hello. Good evening. I think I would have to take the seat of the moderator till she gets back. Welcome you all to our webinar. It's our usual webinar we have every quarter. This being the third, we are hoping to exhaust the conversation around artificial intelligence. And we are hoping to be done by 9 p.m. So we already behind time a bit. My name is Kafui Amanfu. I work for the Institute of ICT Professionals, Ghana, as the Operations Director. So on behalf of the Executive Director, David Gohu, I welcome you all to this edition of our webinar, which is mainly to discuss artificial intelligence. We would look through the history types, the basic terminologies, the ethics, and some impact. We have our two able presenters in here with us, whom I believe will be able to help us do this in record time. We have Elom Goka. Elom Goka is one of our own, and he's been with us for a while now. He's a data science consultant and a certified project management professional. He has 8 years of professional experience, of which 7 of them was in the United States, and including working with companies like the Fortune 500, Fortune 500 company. He also holds a master's degree in analytics. He has expertise in machine learning, exploratory analytics, and project management, of course. That is what equips him to collaborate with businesses and draw valuable insights from data to inform the data decision making. Elom is also passionate about educating individuals on the data science and artificial intelligence fields through talks, as well as providing career and educational guidance to inspiring and junior data scientists. He recently educated students in a graduate school supply chain analytics course at GIMPA, and leveraging data to generate practical insights for decision making. Elom, you're welcome, and thanks for joining us this evening. We also have one of our own, Professor Dr. Adebayo Felix Adekoya. He's a chartered information technology professional and the Dean of School of Graduate Studies at the Catholic University of Ghana, Fiapre Sunyane. He's the immediate past acting Pro-Vice Chancellor of the University of Energy and Natural Resources, Sunyane, all in Ghana. He also served as the Dean of School of Sciences at the same university from 2017 to 2022. He is a professor of computer science and an expert in artificial intelligence, software engineering, learning analytics, and information systems. He has trained and worked with over 150 undergraduates and postgraduate students as their research project supervisor and has over 100 academic publications to his credit. He has participated in a number of workshops, symposiums, public forums, conferences, and technical sessions at the state, national, and international levels. So here we have two able gentlemen who will take us through the session. So let me just check. All right, so I think our moderator is here. Julie, if you can hear me, kindly take over.
Hello, can I be heard, please?
Loud and clear. Perfect. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for making it. Julia, are you there? All right, so whilst we are at it, Elom, kindly take the floor and let's start with our presentation so we don't waste much time.
Thank you, Kafui, and good evening to everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. I'm just trying to share my screen right now. Can someone kindly confirm that you can see my screen, the presentation?
Yeah, we see that.
Okay, great. Well, thank you to the IIPGH leadership team for the opportunity. If anyone has any questions, please note them down. At the end of the presentation, I'll address any questions that you might have. So AI, everywhere you go, AI, one of the hottest topics and most used words in the world today. I'm sure there might be some of you here, just like me, who are kind of tired of hearing this word. But anyway, when I first started working as a data scientist back in 2016, data science was what a lot of corporate leaders were saying would transform their business and give them competitive advantage. However, over time, I noticed some of these leaders were using the words AI instead of data science. Others would say machine learning. Others would say AI and machine learning. These terms were being used interchangeably so much that it led me to research what these terms actually mean and how they differ from one another. Today, I would like to share with you some of what I've learned and through discussion also learned from you. What I'll share with you is by no means the final authority on all things AI, especially since the field is constantly evolving. But my hope is that you at least gain a bit more clarity into this widely discussed subject area. That said, I will get into what AI is. We'll delve briefly into its history. We'll discuss the types of AI. We'll also clarify the meanings of various terminologies that you hear often in AI discourse. And lastly, we'll wrap up by discussing the effects of AI on careers. So what is AI? Before we delve into what AI is, I want to share a little bit about its history. In 1950, a famous British computer scientist called Alan Turing published a paper called Computing Machinery and Intelligence. He's widely considered to be the founding father of AI. He noted in his paper that if a machine could pass as a human being in a conversation, then it was fair to say that that machine demonstrated intelligence. In 1952, an American computer scientist called Arthur Samuel developed a checkers playing program. For those of you who are familiar with IBM, he worked at IBM. And in 1956, three Americans developed a program called the Logit Theorist, which proved 38 math theorems from a textbook. The checkers playing program and the Logit Theorist are considered to be the first AI programs developed. Additionally, in 1956, the term artificial intelligence was officially coined. 1956 is considered the official birth year of AI as a field. There are two things that I would like you to take away from this slide. The first is that clearly AI is not a new concept, but because of advancements in technology, there has been a lot of buzz around it in recent years. Secondly, I also want you to get a sense of what some of the pioneers of the field considered AI, a checkers playing program, a program which proved math theorems, a computer passing or a machine passing as a human being in a conversation. Those were some of the things that the pioneers of the field considered AI. That said, if you were to Google what AI is, you find many different definitions, but they all essentially point to the simulation of human intelligence by machines to solve problems. In this definition, you have human intelligence, which is very broad and complex. You also have solving problems, which is very generic. This is what makes it hard at times to categorically say what is AI and what isn't. Additionally, the constant evolution of this field adds to this problem. However, we have as a reference point what the pioneers of the field considered AI, and also in today's world, there are some general capabilities or technologies that are widely accepted as AI, and we'll delve into those later on in the presentation after we've discussed the types of AI. The first type of AI we have is called narrow AI. People sometimes refer to it as weak AI. So narrow AI systems require humans to train underlying models, and therefore they cannot solve problems outside of what they've been trained to do. They are built to execute specific tasks. So virtual assistants like Siri and Alexa are examples of narrow AI. They were built specifically to respond to human voice prompt commands, to do things like scheduling meetings or making a phone call. So all AI that exists today will fall under this category. The second category we have is general AI, also known as strong AI. This doesn't exist yet. It's currently a theoretical concept. General AI won't require humans to train underlying models, and therefore it will be able to solve new problems in different contexts. For example, a general AI system which hasn't been trained to play chess will have the ability to learn to play chess, whereas a narrow AI system which hasn't been trained to play chess will never have the ability to learn to do so. This ability to solve completely new problems in different contexts without having been trained to do so is what will make general AI essentially function like a human being. Lastly, we have super AI. This is also a theoretical concept. It's said that super AI systems will be able to outperform human beings. Just to give an analogy, if it's commonly said that human beings use 10% of their brain power. And so if super AI was a human being, perhaps it would use 30 to 40% of its brain, which is what would give it the ability to outperform human beings. Again, those are not research numbers. I'm just trying to give an example to bring clarity to this. It's also said that general AI and super AI systems will have the ability to pick up on the emotions of others and will also have emotions of its own. It will have, super AI systems might have their own personality. So to recap, all AI that exists today falls under this category. They cannot solve problems outside of what they've been trained to do. general AI systems will essentially function like human beings. They'll have the ability to learn to solve different problems outside there, to learn to solve different problems. And lastly, we have super AI, which I said will be able to outperform human beings. General and super AI systems also have an emotional intelligence component to them. So common terms you hear in AI discourse, we have deep learning and machine learning, generative AI and neural networks, data science, natural language processing, which is commonly referred to as NLP, and lastly, computer vision. So when you hear, I won't delve deep into any of these details, but when you hear machine learning, that is essentially leveraging mathematical algorithms to draw insights from data. Now, deep learning is a subset of machine learning, which leverages a class of algorithms called neural networks. You often hear this cited in AI discourse because these are the bedrock algorithms of some of the more complex AI solutions, which involve the processing of video, image, text, and audio data. Now, those machine learning algorithms are used to achieve natural language processing, aka NLP, computer vision, and generative AI. NLP, as the name suggests, has to do with machines processing human language. It enables them to process voice-based and text-based language. For example, you could speak into Google Translate, and it will translate your speech into a desired foreign language. This is very helpful for people who travel a lot. Additionally, on some company websites, they have AI customer service chatbots where a customer can ask a question and receive a response immediately. At times, those chatbots leverage NLP. Secondly, we have computer vision. This enables computers to process the visual world, process images. So for example, it's used in supermarkets at self-service checkouts. So these AI systems can scan products from any angle, which makes the checkouts process much faster as opposed to utilizing a barcode and a scanner where you have to place the scanner directly over the barcode, which slows down the checkouts process. Now, lastly, we have generative AI. This is what has taken the buzz around AI to a whole nother level. Generative AI is able to create quote unquote new text, audio, video, and images. So obviously, ChatGPT is the most popular example. It can write essays for you. It can write stories if you ask it to. You also have tools like DALL-E, which generates images, and Sora, which generates videos based on what a user requests of it. So if I wanted to generate an advert or a commercial, or with a Ghanaian man hiking Mount Kilimanjaro and holding a Ghana flag, I can just type it into my generative AI tool, and voila, there you have it. You don't have to pay for an advertising agency to do this. You don't have to pay for travel expenses. You just type it into your generative AI tool and it's produced. Some of you will obviously, I'm sure, have realized that this isn't quite the Ghana flag. This technology isn't perfect, but it will continue to get better as the years go by. So AI versus data science. What is the difference between these two fields? Both AI and data science leverage data. Both AI and data science also leverage machine learning algorithms. Remember, I said those are the mathematical algorithms. The difference between these two fields lies in their goals. The goal of data science is to draw insights from data to inform decision making. For example, what are my top selling products? If I know what my top selling products are, I can plan to make sure I have enough of those in stock so that I don't lose out on making money. So the goal of data science is not to mimic human intelligence or develop intelligent machines, whereas that is the goal of AI. AI can provide insights, but it goes beyond that to mimicking human intelligence or developing intelligent machines. What makes an application or tool AI? When we, wait 1 second. What makes an application or tool AI? When we think about some of the tools in today's world, which are widely accepted as AI, such as your ChatGPT, Siri, and Alexa, you notice that they all have one of the following characteristics to some degree or level. Firstly, they are autonomous. They are able to execute their tasks with little to no human involvement after they have been trained. Secondly, they mimic reasoning. I think everyone would agree that ChatGPT does this. And lastly, I forgot to mention this in an earlier slide, but in today's world, in general, NLP and computer vision are generally accepted as AI, although not always. So what I've shared with you here, they are not hard and fast rules. They are not set in stone guidelines for determining what is AI and what isn't. Since I mentioned earlier, the field is very broad and is constantly evolving, but I believe these can at least be helpful pointers. So I have a list of applications here that I would like us to go through to determine if they are AI or data science. I also have a gray area field because the reality is, even though we made a distinction between these two fields, at times it's hard to still determine which, or it can be tricky to determine which field an application falls under. Madam Moderator, if you don't mind, I would like to get a little audience engagement here, if that's possible. So for customer turnover, can one person share with me if this is an AI or data science application? So with customer turnover, you are just looking to see how many customers you lost over the past year. Can anyone quickly share whether this is an AI or data science application?
Okay. Yes, please. Anyone at all, please. You can just raise your hand and let's get this very interactive. Thank you so much, Kafui, for holding the fort. My name is Julia and I am back.
Welcome back, Julie.
Thank you. So anyone? Okay, I can see 5 hands are raised. Kafui, can you please help me with the hands raised? We can get them their names so that they would quickly answer and then we can get moving. We have 6 hands raised right now.
Yes, could we just get one person to quickly respond, please?
Quickly unmute and respond, please.
Professor Sharif here. I see customer turnover as data science.
Yes, thank you for sharing. That's right. That is indeed a data science application. This is simply an insight, and it doesn't go beyond that to mimicking human intelligence. Facebook friend tagging. I'll do just two more. Facebook friend tagging, AI or data science. Anyone?
Robert Hammond, you want to go? Okay, so I see some comments in the data section.
Siba. There is an Siba.
So I think there are comments also in the comment section. Ni Esrifi says AI.
AI. Okay, yes.
Ola says AI and data science.
Okay.
Okay, I can see that now. Yes.
Okay.
Deborah also says AI.
Okay. I would say this is AI. So with the Facebook friend tagging, without you, a human being or an individual, tagging who that person is, Facebook will use computer vision, facial recognition to recommend who that person could possibly be, whether it's Kofi or Amma. Additionally, Facebook does this autonomously without any human involvement. Based on that, I would say this is an AI application. So lastly, fraud detection and banking. Could I quickly get a response and then we move on? Fraud detection and banking.
Yeah, that would be data science.
Data science.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with that as well. It's an insight, doesn't go beyond that to mimic human intelligence. Thank you for your participation. With the effect of AI on careers, rather than sharing statistics on how many jobs will be lost, how many jobs will be created, I decided to rather share some specific careers that you commonly see cited that will likely be affected by AI. I'll just speak to one or two of these. I'll start off with the customer service reps. So as some of you may already know, there are AI customer service chatbots. There's a fear that these might take over customer rep jobs. Now, do I believe that some jobs will be lost due to that technology? Yes, I do, especially those rep jobs which just involve responding to routine and mundane questions. However, I think we would all agree that there are some customer service issues which are very complex and nuanced, which just require human involvement. Based on that, I don't think all customer service rep jobs will be lost. Secondly, I'll speak to the first example, software developers and data scientists, jobs that in general require coding. So again, I'm sure many people here are aware that there are AI code generators. You as a human being will just give it a prompt to develop, write code to do a specific task, and it will provide the code to you. I have a friend who has no experience in creating websites, but he was able to use one of these code generators to build a website on his own. So these generators are definitely very powerful, but on the other hand, they sometimes do produce errors. They don't always produce the right code. At times as well, they might give you code that works, but it's not written in the most efficient way or in an optimal way. And that's very critical when you're developing more complex solutions. For that reason, I don't believe that the jobs which require coding will be eliminated, at least for now. And for data scientists specifically, and I suspect the same is true for other coding jobs, there's a lot more that goes into the job outside of coding. So what can we do to prepare professionally for the impact of AI? Stay up to date on AI developments, figure out how it will affect your field of work. Could it completely replace your work, or would it only affect specific parts of your work? And now, secondly, be devoted to continuous learning. You should try to sharpen your skills in areas of your job that will not be affected by AI, but are highly pertinent to what you do. Secondly, you can learn to leverage AI if the AI technology is such that it requires some level of human involvement. Being able to use it would be advantageous. Lastly, you should try to grow in your leadership skills, public speaking skills, the knowledge of the industry that you are in. By doing so, you will remain professionally valuable. Lastly, the truth is that some jobs will be lost due to AI, so you might want to explore other fields or progressions within your current field. I know some people who are both lawyers and are monetizing certain things that you are passionate about. Maybe if you are passionate about fashion, you can find a way to monetize that. Also, progressing in your career, if you are to step into a leadership role, I think that would, at least I think that would provide some safety against AI. So could I just have someone share one takeaway from this presentation very quickly before I summarize and leave you with some thoughts for reflection? What is one takeaway from seeing this presentation?
Okay. All right. So I have Kofi Poku. Kofi Poku's hand is up. Kindly unmute and speak, please. Hello, Kofi Poku.
Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, please. We can hear you.
Okay, hello. So basically, what I gather from the information you've passed on, the good information you passed on, that eventually we need to stay updated, or we need to stay in touch with development in AI. Basically, if your job is going to be threatened in the future, you need to keep abreast so that you can move along with the timeline of AI and its future development.
Great. Thank you for sharing. So to summarize, we showed that AI is not a new concept. It started in the 1950s, but because of advancements in technology, it's become very popular recently. Additionally, we mentioned that the definition of AI is very broad, which is why sometimes it's hard to say what is AI and what isn't. Thirdly, in today's world, in general, NLP and computer solutions are accepted as AI, but not always. Also, the level of autonomy that a solution has plays a role in whether it's viewed as AI. We discussed the difference between data science and AI. I would be curious to hear if people have other takes on the difference between these two fields. And lastly, to stay professionally relevant in this era of AI, you should be devoted to continuous learning. So points for reflection. If you are a young professional interested in the data science and AI field, after seeing this presentation, would you brand yourself as a data scientist or an AI engineer? Personally, I have chosen to continue to call myself a data scientist because I am more interested in leveraging my skill sets to draw insights from data to inform decision making as opposed to contributing to the development of intelligent systems or intelligent machines. If you are an educational institution, are you offering a program in AI or data science? If you are offering a program in AI, is there a clear and strong emphasis on computer vision and NLP solutions? Is there a clear and strong emphasis on deep learning and neural networks? Because, as I mentioned, those are the bedrock models, our mathematical algorithms of AI solutions. And lastly, to my corporate leaders on the call, I would say to you that there is a lot of buzz around AI and data science, and rightfully so. But my submission to you would be that there's a lot of value to be gained from the non-predictive side of data science. For example, if you are a telecommunications company in the last year, have you been losing more customers than you have been gaining? Or do you know the demographics of your customer base? If you know that, you could do some targeted marketing. All those are targeted marketing, I'm sorry. So all those are useful, non-predictive insights which can provide a lot of value to your business. So these are my sources, and thank you for listening. That's all I have for my presentation.
Wow. Thank you so much, Elom. Thank you so much. I mean, this has been really, really insightful. Particularly for me, I'm so grateful that I know the difference between AI and data science now. I mean, I can clearly tell the difference, and that alone is enough for me. Thank you so much. I think we'll just go straight to our second presenter, Professor Adebayo. Kindly give us your presentation. Thank you. So before Professor takes over, you know, AI has become like a household name. And recently in church, I was surprised to hear one lady. I mean, I know she was trying to talk about AI. She was like, me the IA in the year. I was like, IA? Sorry, lady, it is AI. I mean, it's become such a household name that some are already turning it around and calling it IA.
Entering replacement.
Yes. Professor Adebayo, please, are you ready for us? Anytime. I think a lot of people are the number one thing a lot of people are scared about, and I mean the misconception, if I should call it that way, which is very common in people's minds, is that AI has come to take people's jobs. You know, once they hear of AI, all they know about is robots. They say, very soon we're going to have robots doing a lot of work around. And they have no idea that it is so broad, and it's really not something new. It's been around for quite a while. So this has been really insightful. Thank you so much, Elom. Professor, please, anytime you're ready, you can just unmute and take us through your presentation. The house is ready for you. If you have any questions, you can jot them down. We have a lot of time allocated for question and answer time. So if you have any questions, kindly jot them down and patiently wait for the question and answer time. I think Professor is having a bit of a challenge now, trying to join us. So I think I can.
I think Prof can speak now.
Okay. All right, Prof. Kindly unmute and take us through your presentation, please.
When you least expect technology to fail you. Yeah.
Hello, Julie. It seems Prof can't unmute himself. So if you could unmute him.
Okay, so that should be Kafui.
Yeah, he is. He has all the rights to move on now. He should be able to unmute himself at his end now. I don't know why he is struggling. I think Julie, this is what he faced earlier.
Yes, exactly that. They said my mic was disabled. So I had to move him from laptop to phone.
Okay, if Prof, you could just opt out and in again. Let's see if that will correct it. If you can hear me clearly, please. Because here, from my end, I have unmuted you, but at your end, you need to unmute yourself. So just opt out and in again. Let's see if that works. And if you have questions, you can begin to drop them in the chat or Q&A box. So we'll deal with them as and when.
Is Prof back? Or can we just take some questions, if there are any, in the chat box?
Yeah, someone is asking, what is the career path or steps if I want to become a data scientist? From professional certificates to academia degrees, what should be the steps to be taken?
Okay, thank you for the question. Let me try maybe sharing my screen again to answer that question. Well, let me just address it. Okay, so what the question was, what do you need to study? What skills and knowledge are needed to become a data scientist or data analyst? So firstly, there are what we call visualization tools, like Tableau and Power BI. Those, it would be good to get some experience with those. Also, for programming languages, we have Python, R, Python and R. Those are the most popular, although Python is more widely used in industry. Gaining some skills in that too would be necessary. And lastly, statistics. Taking some statistics courses. If you want to become a data scientist, it will be important that you take some classes on machine learning. So you learn how to leverage those predictive models. But if you want to be a data analyst, so in general, a data analyst doesn't do predictive work, then the course you take, it wouldn't be necessary for it to include machine learning. I hope that answers your question. And I mean, if you are looking for some specific institutions in Ghana, there's Blossom Academy, which does a great job of equipping people with the skills necessary to get into this field. And so that's the one place that I am aware of. If anyone has any recommendations as to schools in Ghana which train people in this field or any online courses, please feel free to share.
Yes, I think there are a number of courses on Coursera. I've seen a number of them. I mean, giving the training in data science, data analysis, and all that. The Tableau, the Power BI. I think the question has been answered.
Not to forget the basics, Excel.
Yes.
Yes, that's right. Excel is a very underrated tool. In my opinion, I don't think, or we'll see, but I don't think Excel will ever go away.
No,
it
no,
would
no.
never. It would never go
It
away.
won't. It won't. There's so much Excel can do. So much. Do we have Professor
Prof coming back.
Adebayo coming back now?
I don't see Prof here yet. No, still not.
Okay, so I think I can start going through some of our questions whilst we wait for Professor. Anytime he comes on, he will just go ahead with his presentation. So I have a question here. What are the main ethical concerns surrounding the use of AI, particularly in decision-making processes? The main ethical concerns.
Okay, yeah. So I don't know if what I'm about to describe, we would categorize it as an ethical concern, but thinking about it in the Ghanaian and African context, given the significant lack of jobs, I wonder whether it would be prudent to limit the implementation of AI solutions that could affect less specialized jobs. I think of a place like Melcom in Ghana, where they employ a good number of people.
Yes.
And so if you were to implement one of those AI self-checkout machines and it results in all those people losing their jobs, is that a right thing to do? Is that ethical? If we choose to go down that path, then we would have to make sure we have a plan in place to reskill these individuals and have other opportunities for them so that they are not lost without jobs. Thank you.
So in that case, if we have these AI tools doing the checkout, are they going to collect cash as well, or will it strictly be with the card payment? I mean, in our society, especially in Ghana, for example, we do a lot of cash transactions. And I am sure that we definitely will still need some human intervention to collect cash.
Yeah, I think those systems, I stand corrected, but I'm pretty sure those systems have the ability to take both cash and card.
Okay. Then that is really a source of concern then. Okay. So what role should government and international organizations play in regulating AI to ensure ethical practices then?
What role should governments
And international organizations, what role can they play in regulating AI to ensure ethical processes?
Yeah, I mean, I believe they should definitely play a role. I think the example I just cited with the Melcom supermarkets example would be something that perhaps some rules and regulations would have to be implemented possibly at the national level to guide the use of those technologies. Also, I know at least in the Western world, there are rules and regulations already in place to guide the use of these applications. They are still being worked on. Recently, I think I saw an article where France sued Google for training some of their AI models on some copyright French news articles. And so I say that to say there are laws in place to regulate the use, and people are starting to take action when they feel that it has not been appropriately used.
Oh, wow. That's interesting to note. Wow. So in the field of, let's say, the industries, I think a typical example is where we have the robots and machines doing packaging and all sort of things. So humans have lost their jobs in that respect. So when we come to healthcare, the finances, and let's say in education, for example, in what ways is AI expected to transform these the systems in these places, healthcare, finance, or even in education? What should we expect?
Yeah, in regards to healthcare, I recently attended the Indaba X conference. For those of you who are familiar with it, it was hosted in Kumasi. It's a data science and AI conference. And at the conference, there was representation from the KNUST Responsible AI Lab present. And they are in a presentation by one of their employees. They shared some current work that they are doing in partnership with other organizations. Apparently, they are working on creating an AI wheelchair which would leverage computer vision. And so it would have the ability to avoid various obstacles and to avoid various obstacles. Also, as you know, some disabled people don't have limbs, so they are also working on implementing some NLP capabilities where you can speak to the wheelchair and it will move. So that was something that I learned from the Indaba X conference in Kumasi. And I think that's an exciting development, particularly for the healthcare space.
Very exciting. I'm already imagining people on the streets who are usually in these wheelchairs and have people pushing them around. And imagine them in their wheelchairs and operating everything by themselves. I mean, that would be really interesting. So that is with respect to healthcare. So what about, say, finance in the financial sector, for example? What should we expect?
In the financial sector, I mean, I know that some of these large banks
Mm-hmm.
have, I don't know if you would call it an AI tool or data science tool, but maybe I'll say an AI tool which can process the large amounts of legal documents that they receive and they have to process. And so that system can identify problematic clauses and so on and so forth. And so it makes the work of their lawyers and paralegals easier to do. Now, on the data science side, I'm sure many people are aware you can develop models to predict who is likely to default on a loan. There are also models that can help you in your investments, deciding what stocks to invest in. So those are some AI and data science applications in that field.
Wow. I look forward to they developing robots that can actually deliver huge sums of money. You know, for example, the transportation of money from the banks to, let's say, the central bank, where a number of police have been involved in different issues with the armed robbers, and we've lost quite a couple of lives. I mean, I hope we get to the point where we can have robots moving this money between the banks to save some lives then. You know, trained robots, I mean. I can imagine that. I think we have Professor on now. Hello, Professor Adebayo. If you are here with us, can you unmute and say a hello? Hello, Prof. I think we've been discussing a few things about ethics, and the Prof is going to take us through that. Hopefully, the network is kind to Prof now. Teams is kind to him and allows him to do his presentation. Prof, can you hear us, please? Hello, Prof. Okay. So if Prof is not on now, I think we can, let me check if we have any questions in the chat box so we can handle them. Okay. So
Perhaps we can start some Q&A whilst
yes.
we wait for Prof.
Yes. So I want to read a few submissions we have in here. Okay, so Mami has asked, okay, let me see. I want to take it from where we left off. Okay, Mami is asking, okay, what is the role and responsibilities of a data scientist? So she wants to know the specific roles and responsibilities of a data scientist. So Elon, over to you,
Yeah.
please.
Yes, thank you for the question. So data science in general is broken down into three categories. You have descriptive analysis, predictive analysis, and prescriptive analysis. And so descriptive analysis provides you insight into historical events. For example, how many customers did a bank lose in the past year? Predictive analysis, as the name suggests, you use to make predictions. When will light off occur over the next 2 weeks? Now, with prescriptive analysis, that one recommends an action to take. So, for example, on Netflix, Netflix will sometimes recommend a movie that you could watch, right? So remember those three categories. So in general, a data scientist will have skills to work in all three categories, the descriptive, predictive, and prescriptive. But a data analyst will have the skill sets to only work in the descriptive, in the descriptive side. So providing insights on historical events. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, thank you so much, Elon. So I have a question from Deborah here. She says she's really enjoyed the session, but then AI is very broad, and she would like to know if she can just pick an aspect of AI and specialize in it.
Well, I guess I mentioned in the presentation that in general, in today's world, computer vision and natural language processing, natural language, how am I going blank on the last word? NLP, natural language processing, yes. So in today's world, computer vision and natural language processing are widely considered as AI, although not always. I mean, to your question, you could choose to specialize in one of those areas. However, I would encourage you to not limit yourself if you are just starting your journey. I would say explore the possibilities, and through exploration, it will become clear to you what specifically within AI you are most interested in. Thank you.
Okay, I have, I think this is some addition from Kawunda. I think in terms of the career path, the industry is too undefined. Company A will employ as data scientist, and you will do things relating to machine learning or data analyst. Some will employ you, and you will even be doing data engineering activities. It all depends on the company that employs you and the job requirements. So just arm yourself with Excel, SQL, Python, and any visualization tool like the Power BI or Tableau, and you will fit in a lot of roles. I mean, this is a great comment from Kawanda. Thank you so much. Yes.
Yeah. Hello.
So the advice here is just arm yourself. Hello.
Please, good evening.
Good evening.
Please, this is Professor Adekoya.
Hi, Professor. Finally, we have you.
We thank God and thank you for your patience and understanding.
Thank God. In fact, we need to give testimony in church for this. Thank God. So please, you can quickly carry on with your presentation.
Okay, I will be glad if it can be shared again on my behalf.
Yes, so it's being projected right now in just a moment. All right, here we go.
Thank you very much. Good evening, colleagues.
Good evening again, Prof.
I want to thank all of you for your patience and understanding. I also want to thank the leadership and members of IIPGH for giving me this platform. I am supposed to talk on ethical considerations of artificial intelligence. I hope in the next few minutes I will do justice to that. Come and operate your system. Oh, the next slide, please. Thank you. So, in summary, I will present on overview of artificial intelligence. Elom has talked about it extensively, and I will zoom straight into ethical considerations of AI. I will talk about equity of AI, and then data privacy, and also safeguarding human dignity, and also look at the global and national perspectives from the UNESCO and intergovernmental relations perspectives. And then we'll conclude. Thank you. So ethics is generally about the good and the bad. What is permissible and what is not permissible. If you look at this slide, we can make attempt to identify with the man with the gun. Is he a detective, a secret agent, a policeman, a criminal? I don't know whether anyone can try to determine who the person is. But I will tell you that for us to clearly identify this person, we must know his intention. If his intention is within the context of laws and regulations, then we can be able to identify whether he is a detective, a secret agent, a policeman, or a criminal. Please, next slide. So ethics borders on integrity, on moral, on principles, on honesty, the right thing to be done, fairness, responsibility, conscience, choice, honor, and value. So when we talk about ethics of AI, these are the things that comes to mind. Next slide, please. I would like to skip this slide and a couple of others because of Elon presentations. Please, let's skip. Please kindly skip until you get to ethical considerations. Okay, thank you. Now, when we talk about ethical considerations, our concern is that AI systems must adhere to ethical frameworks, ensuring safety, fairness, and equity in the society. We want AI that will be responsible and we conform with ethical practices while prioritizing the well-being of users, the larger community, as well as protecting the business, the social and national environment. Ethical implementation of AI requires addressing issues of equity, privacy, and data protection, and also human dignity in order to ensure fair, positive, and responsible use of AI system. Please, next slide. Oh, yeah, yes, please. There are guiding principles that guide the ethical considerations of AI, and these principles address some risk that comes along with the use and development and usage of AI. So we are going to talk about them in the next slide. The first one has to do with biasness and discrimination. AI systems are trained on massive amounts of data, and embedded in that data, there are societal biases. So we talk about developing AI systems that devolve the context of biasness and that will not allow discrimination in the society. We can think of the use of ATM machine, for example. Does it allow inclusiveness? Can you identify anything that can create some kind of discrimination among bank customers or bank workers? So when you talk of biasness, these are some of the examples of what we are talking about. Please, let's move to the next slide so that we can talk. Then transparency and accountability. Please, let the size with all this. No. Okay, yes. More than often enough, AI systems operate in a kind of a black box where these systems offer limited interpretability of how they work and how they arrive at certain decisions. So we are advocating for AI systems that promote transparency and accountability. Then I think the generative AI is now popular, but just as Elon demonstrated with the use of using generative AI to create a national flag or someone who is climbing mountain. The point is that at the end of the day, we may have ownership crisis. I think Meta AI has tried to put some kind of watermark on images that are generated by Meta AI. Beside that, the issue of who owns the content, and then this can also affect creativity of human beings. Then social manipulation and misinformation. With the use of AI, there could be a lot of fake news going around, and then misinformation and disinformation. In Elon's presentation, he mentioned that there are instances where AI generates errors. So please, we must take note that as we develop AI system, we must ensure that we do not develop AI system that people can use to manipulate the society through fake news, through misinformation. Please, next slide. Sorry, the one before, yes. We are also concerned about the privacy, the security and surveillance issues when it comes to issue of AI. We will talk more on this. We are also concerned about dehumanization and job displacement. This is the concluding part of Elon's presentation, that definitely some jobs will be lost to AI, and therefore people should prepare themselves to take advantage of other areas. But then the point must be noted that the advancement of AI automation has the potential to replace human jobs, resulting in widespread unemployment and exacerbating economic inequalities. So please, next slide. Here we talk about the frameworks that we can use for making informed decisions regarding the acquisition, the design, use, and management of AI systems. So it is important that organizations and government regulate how AI systems can be acquired, how AI systems can be designed, and the usage and management of AI systems. Next slide, please. The first issue we want to talk about has to do with equity. We mentioned discrimination and biasness. We can address this by ensuring that there are no disparities between the design and use of AI systems, and we ensure that we eliminate inequalities which may already be in existence as we develop and deploy AI systems. Please, next slide. Some of the strategies, I will mention some of them and then move on. To ensure fairness and address biasness and discrimination is that our goal should be to work towards developing inclusive and equitable AI systems in multiple domains by acknowledging biases and actively reducing them, and encouraging openness and incorporating other perspectives. We must ensure that we employ methods to identify and address biases in training data, including the selective use of data sets, the use of data from numerous sources, and the routine evaluation and update of algorithms to lessen discriminatory results. Please, next slide. We must establish and sustain moral norms, that is fairness, equality, and responsibility, and regulations for the development and application of AI. We must promote diversity and collaboration in AI development teams to include diverse opinions and decrease the risk of biased algorithms. I think as computer programmers, system developers transit to the era of AI, we need to call our attention, because more than often you see software programmers depending only on their own understanding of how systems should be and excluding even the end users. I'm happy Selom is a project manager, so he will always promote the inclusiveness of end users in systems development and testing. So this is one way we can ensure that we promote diversity and collaboration in AI development. Please, next slide. Data privacy. That is another concern when it comes to AI. We must ensure that the data that is being collected by AI systems are well protected, so that users and stakeholders will have confidence in releasing their data. Okay, so privacy arises when there is insufficient protection for the data and when it is used for purposes other than the intended outcomes. So there is need to establish clear guidelines and robust security measures to safeguard users' privacies and ensure that data is used for only legitimate purposes. Please, next slide. We talk about securing our data. And that means that we have to establish proper security guidelines to prevent unauthorized access, misuse, privacy violations, and potential harms to users of AI systems. It is also important that every AI system that we develop to collect or gather data must seek the consent and consent of stakeholders by telling them that their data is being collected, for what purpose, telling them the legal liability of the person who is collecting the data and any other parties that are involved. Please, next slide. I've mentioned some of the solutions. So strong data protection policies, robust data encryption and storage. Please, next slide. I'm trying to save time now. Please, next slide. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay. Please, next slide. Some of these, I've mentioned them. Okay, business continuity. Part of business continuity and recovery is the plan for data breaches. We must have a response plan in case data breaches occur. Organizations should be able to address potential data breaches and ensure business continuity in those instances. So these plans should include procedures for notifying affected individuals, relevant authorities, and implementing remedial actions to mitigate the impact of the breach. One critical ethical consideration has to do with preservation and promotion of human dignity. We must ensure that AI systems that are designed adhere to ethical principles of respecting and upholding the inherent worth and value of every individual. For example, we know that the psychological feeling of being able to solve a problems is always important. But when you release such strength of values to system, you have some kind of erosion in the worth of a human being. So therefore, we are emphasizing that to a large extent, as much as we are encouraging the use of AI systems, especially such as generative AI, we must ensure that we preserve and promote human dignity, okay? And then we shouldn't also allow the use of AI to compromise the fundamental human rights and dignity of human beings, okay? So please, next slide. So therefore, it is very important to strike a balance between technological advancement and human interaction, so to ensure that people's emotional, social, and psychological well-being are adequately addressed. AI systems should be designed with transparency and explainability, allowing individuals to understand how decisions that affect business transactions are made. Please, I've spoken about over-reliance on AI. We can move ahead. Please, we can move ahead. Okay, roles. What role should government play in regulating AI and ensuring ethical practices? The first and primary role has to do with policy and regulations. Government should provide guidelines, support, and incentives for organizations to design, and adopt ethical AI development practices, thereby promoting a culture of responsible innovation. One of the very first things that the government need to do, and I believe there are a lot of efforts going on in the country on doing this, is the development of a comprehensive national AI strategies within which we can situate the ethical framework that will provide clear guidance on what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. This national strategy will direct government course of actions and plan on how AI is going to contribute to the national economy as well as the social development within the country. Government should also provide platform to support ongoing research and innovations, especially in AI ethics and governance. We believe that this can contribute to the continuous improvement of AI systems, and the investment can help government to stay up to date with the latest ethical considerations and best practices in AI. Please, next slide. Please, next slide. Please, am I still on?
Yes, you are. You can be
Okay,
heard.
please, next slide.
Okay, Kafui, can you hear us? The next slide, please. Okay, Prof, if you have the slides from your side, you can carry on.
All right.
He will align, yes, he will align when he hears us.
So that's the step. See, we have to bring this one in. We have to bring this one into this place. Something else.
Hello, sorry, I went off. I think the presentation also stopped, I guess, right?
Yes, please.
Technology, when it wants to fail you. Oh my. Okay. Is my screen back on?
Yes, it's back on. So the next slide, please.
Okay. So the government must, sorry, please, we are not here yet. If you can go back about 1 or 2 slides. Okay, I think, please, one more. All right, let's take it from here. Government should collaborate with the academia, industry, and research institutions to facilitate the exchange of knowledge, fostering the development of more responsible and sustainable AI solutions. And then there should be implementation of continuous monitoring and evaluation mechanism Government can set up an AI regulatory body to ensure that they monitor and evaluate AI design and AI usage to be able to conform with the national AI regulations. Please, next slide. So next, there should be continuous updating and strengthening of the legal and regulatory frameworks. We live in a dynamic society, and we know that some people will deliberately design or deploy AI systems in negative and criminal ways by exploring all the loopholes in the legal and regulatory frameworks. So there is need for continuous updating and strengthening the legal and regulatory frameworks. An important goal is promotion of inclusiveness in AI ethics and governance. So we need to bring diverse stakeholders to be involved in the governance of AI in order to promote long-term success and sustainability. Please, next slide. The map shows the global AI index, and if you can look at it, you see the leading nations in orange color. Please, next slide. You see the leading nations in orange color, and then the other nations that are active again after the ones in orange colors, you see them in blue. So those in gray, when it comes to AI, they are not active. National AI strategies, those in green have developed and they have started implementing their national AI strategies. You could see in Africa, Republic of Benin has been able to develop their national AI and they are implementing it. Ghana and Nigeria, Algeria and Tunisia, Libya are still struggling. And likewise, South Africa, Kenya, Ethiopia are still struggling to develop their national AI strategies. But 3 countries in Africa, Egypt, Benin, and I think Senegal, has been able to develop their national AI strategy. So next slide. So you could see that Ghana is working on its national AI strategy, and it has received support from both UN and some private organizations. It's ironic that Ghana is the home of Google's artificial intelligence lab in Africa, and therefore it must do all that is necessary to adopt and approve the commencement of the national AI strategy. Please, next slide. Next slide, please. So, call for actions. What are the things that we need to do? First of all, we need professional development. We need to train ourselves in the design, in the usage of responsible AI, and also in the governance of AI. We need massive infrastructural investments in AI, and we need legislative frameworks. We also need to step up our research and development activities when it comes to AI. And we must also situate the AI into our national ICT policy and other educational policies, manpower policies, health policies, transportation policies, digital transformation policies. We must bring AI into all these national policies, since we know that the use cases of AI transcend virtually every known human endeavor. But most importantly, we need to have national identity. We should put a stop to importation of AI systems. There should be homegrown AI systems in Ghana. On this note, I want to thank you again for listening actively, and also thank IIPGH for this platform. Madam
Thank you
Moderator,
so
thank
much.
you very much.
Thank you so much, Prof. Thank you for honoring our invitation. We at IIPGH, we are grateful for this lecture. I think I will give you a set of questions briefly. So these set of questions go to you. Let me ask, how can biases in AI models be identified and mitigated?
All right. I mentioned the use of data. We must ensure that we remove biases from our data and ensure that the models are adequately trained so that there is no overfitting, there is no underfitting. And we also select appropriate data sets. And we do not limit our data sets to one source, but to multiple data sets.
Okay, I think that is understandable. So with the widespread adoption of AI in the society, what are some of the potential risks and challenges to be expected?
Okay, this risk and challenges are some of the things I mentioned when we talk about ethical considerations. For example, when we design a traffic system, for example, what do you call it? This traffic lights.
Mm-hmm.
A visually impaired driver, how is he going to know that the signal is red, green, or amber? There should be, Madam Moderator, you are lying. You see, in addition to the fact that the light is on, if we have IoT set up in places and we have vehicles that can receive signals from IoT, there could be signals from the traffic lights that will transform into sounds which can be received by the visually impaired driver to know
Mm-hmm.
that there is traffic light ahead of him or her, and that the traffic light, this is the state of the color of the traffic light. That is just one example of ensuring that we do away with biasness and discrimination in the development and deployment of AI systems.
Okay. So for example, if we could even have some sensors on the road, maybe close to the traffic light, for example, that could somehow inform the oncoming vehicle that we have, there is a traffic light ahead of you.
Yes, please.
For example, wow. Your presentation actually gives us some comfort, in this world of AI and where we are going to. Let me just ask this. So what are some of the most promising AI research areas that we think will drive future innovations?
Well, I think that the promising innovation depends on human demands. And for example, in the area of managing traffic, we are well aware of what Google has done in terms of the network of road monitoring, directing traffic, telling you that this is the situation on this road. You can, if you like, you can take this narrow route, or if you can manage the delay in the traffic, you can follow this particular road network, and so on and so forth. In terms of, let me say, airport control or airport management, there are a number of innovative systems that have been developed to ensure that aircraft take off and land safely. In medical diagnostic systems, there are a lot of devices and systems that have been developed to ensure that we have safe, ethical, and cost-effective healthcare delivery. Okay, and then in educational systems, we have in several diverse human endeavors, there are promising AI innovations.
Wow. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you less. I mean, I agree with you 100%, especially with your first point on the traffic monitoring by Google. Oh my God. I think that is one of the best innovations. I don't know how I could have survived in Accra, driving in Accra without without Google Map, because I use it so much that at times my kids will ask me that, Mommy, why don't you know the way to your house? Because I'm leaving somewhere going home and then I'm asking Google to take me home. They don't understand. They are wondering why I'm still relying on Google Map. But it's been so helpful. That has really, really been very helpful. So, how do you see the relationship between humans and AI evolving in, let's say, the next 10 to 20 years? I remember seeing a video where somebody was trying to order pizza, and the AI tool was telling him that the doctor had told him not to eat pizza. I mean, giving him his medical history and everything, and the gentleman was getting frustrated because he was interested in eating something, and then AI was telling him it's not good for him. So let's say in the next 10 to 20 years, how do you see the relationship between humans and AI evolving?
Well, let me make this statement. It's a popular statement that says there is no old bar. As much as the demands of human beings to automate certain process, to take care of some cognitive task, definitely we continue to see a lot of improvement in AI driven systems. For example, let's say you are cooking at home in your kitchen, we could have smoke detector that will tell you that the heat in the kitchen is too much, and therefore you should open your windows or you reduce the heat. And then if there is a fire, you could also have a fire alarm. And now we have CCTV monitoring system that you can monitor from anywhere in the world to monitor what is going on in our houses and in so many other places. So the relationship between AI and human being is such that there will be more demand for AI-driven systems. Therefore there is more demand on AI experts. So and I believe it will boost our economy. I don't know whether
Okay.
that is the direction you want me to go.
Yes. So I want to see how you think that human beings are really going to evolve along with AI. So I just remembered another video where there's this home, an IoT home, I think the gentleman had a blow on his face. He uses his facial recognition to enter his house. And then on that day, he had a blow on his face, and the system could not recognize his face. So he was frustrated and couldn't enter his home.
Well,
That was one.
I think one of the things that we need to expose ourselves to in our field is the issue of philosophy. As system developers, we need to take time how to study philosophy, talking about metaphysics, talking about epistemology, talking about ethics, and other branches of philosophy. I mentioned this because of your example, the example you mentioned.
Yeah.
Let's take the case of facial recognition or biometrics. We have national ID card that is based on facial recognition, fingerprints, and so on and so forth. What happens if after somebody's fingerprint has been recorded and God forbid there is a loss of hand or finger? What happens if somebody was involved in some kind of accident that require his face to go for plastic surgery? So earlier on you asked about the risks and challenges. These are some of the risks and challenges that will come, and we must prepare for them. We must look for alternatives in ensuring, for example, somebody is using facial recognition or fingerprint to unlock or lock his door or a door. So what happens if there is a change in the condition? How will the person open? So these are some of the issues that we must think about.
We need to find answers to.
Yes.
Wow. Thank you so much. I have an addition here from Kaunda again. He says that I think one of the main ways to reduce biases is for Africa to produce and collect data too. So the AI engineers need data to train models. They will end up using data that is available to them. So if you go to the kaggle.com to search for data sets, you will hardly get something on Ghana. There is particular data set about health facilities in Ghana. I think the last time it was updated was like 8 years ago. I'm not surprised. It could even be more than 8 years now. So he thinks that one way to reduce the biases is for Africa to produce and collect our own data. And I think I agree with that. Do you have any point to make on that, Prof?
Thank you very much. I aligned myself with that thought. And if you note where I stop my presentation, I talk about national identity. So this aligns with Kafu's line of thought. It is time that we begin to think of setting up national data center. It is time that we begin to look at the templates that we use in collecting data to ensure that the templates meet all ethical requirements in terms of equity, inclusiveness, in terms of transparency, accountability, to ensure that pertinent data that are supposed to be collected are collected without any form of biases. And then we have the infrastructure to store the data so that it will be accessible for researchers and relevant stakeholders. That is one way of creating national identity for ourselves.
All right. Thank you. On that note, I'm going to open the floor for 2 or 3 questions. If you have any question for Elom or Prof, kindly put up your hand. You'll be called. You are mute, and then you ask your question. I think our time is fast spent now. So if we can have 2 questions so we can quickly wrap up and call it a night. 2 questions, please. Is there any hand up? If I cannot see your hand up, please, I have given you permission. Okay, please go ahead. I always call you Kaunda. Am I getting the name right? Kaunda? Kindly unmute and speak. And correct me if I get your name wrong.
Hi. Yes, please. The name is Kaunda.
All right, good.
Thanks for the opportunity, and I think I appreciate what the speakers have said about a lot in there to learn. Not question per se, but a bit of contribution here. Regarding the question whether AI is taking over our job or not. It's far long to have that conversation. They've taken over the job. We are only shifting. That is why we are still relevant. All work we've been doing 20 years ago, they've taken it. We have just repositioned ourselves. That is why we have a work to do. So like the Elon said, if we don't continue to learn, to make ourselves relevant, we'll be off. I know of an office, there were about 9 working there at data processing. Now that office is collapsed. There's no one in that office again. So many. Now, if you go to bank, that used to have like 6, 7, 8 tellers. We go there and we only see 2 or 3. But we still keep asking ourselves, is AI taking our job? So for me, they've already taken it. Anyone who is still working means you've repositioned yourself. So that is what we have to continue to do. If not, if you sleep, you go off. You will not get work to do. That is just a bit of contribution I want to add. Thank you.
And that is the reality. That is the reality. In fact, typewriters have been out of the market for how many years now? I mean, the jobs have been taken over from time immemorial. So, I mean, this is just the reality. And to stay relevant, we need to just stay up to date. We need to upgrade ourselves. Any more questions, please? Is there any hand up?
Madam Moderator.
Yes.
Please, without laying too much emphasis on that point, I agree with the last speaker, but then I agree with him, and I want to emphasize his solution. If we ask ourselves, where is the Nokia of this world? Where is the Sagem of this world? So even Coca-Cola that has been in existence for over 100 years, and any organization, in management, every organization have a lifespan. So it therefore behoves on us to keep on evolving. So I think it is not out of place to keep on evolving. Continuous training. What, for example, for us, myself, what we learned some 30-something years back in school in computer science is not what is being taught. So if I want to rely on what we learned in school, in university back then, do you think I will fit into today's world? So it is very important for us to note that the speaker's position is very accurate, and I align myself with him.
Excellent. Do we have any more questions? Just one more. One more question. Counting down from 3, 2. Are there any questions in the chat box? Okay, I think let me just check that. Okay, so there is one question here, and I will take that as the last question. There are several questions. Okay, several questions remain about open AI source, open source AI. How can we balance protecting intellectual property and fostering innovation through open AI? Should I take that question again? So to you, Prof, how can we balance protecting intellectual property and fostering innovation through open AI source, with several questions remaining about open AI sources?
Thank you very much for that question. And I will start from saying that we need the national AI regulatory framework. In the course of my presentation, I propose the setting up of a national AI regulatory body. For every AI system that is being locally developed or being imported, they should seek clearance and approval. That is one. When it comes to content development, to claim ownership, part of what the regulatory body is going to establish is to look at the amount of generative AI in whatever that is being claimed by the owner of the property. Let's assume I develop an AI system. We need to develop a framework, those it exists in some context, how to determine what is the level of my own contributions in the development of the work. So to determine the originality of the innovation and then determine the ownership. That is one way of ensuring we protect intellectual property. Another way of protecting intellectual property is to approach the organization that the government has set up to protect intellectual property. Let's begin to cultivate the habit of registering and patent our innovations. So this is my contribution in this regard.
Nicely done. Thank you, Prof. Let me just allow 1 minute for Elom to give us any closing remarks. Briefly, just a few words. Is Elom here with us, please? Can we have your last thoughts before
Yes,
we close?
yes, I'm here. Thank you. I think just to echo the points that were made earlier, when the computer came into existence, I'm sure a lot of people never imagined that it would be an everyday necessity. When the internet came into existence, the same thing with that. And so I think a similar thing will likely happen with AI, and we just need to prepare for its impact in the ways that we've already mentioned. Thank you to the IIPGH leadership for the opportunity, and to all the attendees as well for listening and for your contributions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Elom and Prof. I think this has been 2 hours very well spent, very productive. This is IIPGH, the Institute of ICT Professionals Ghana. So if we have anyone amongst us right now who is not a member and would like to be a member, you kindly log on onto the portal membership.iipgh.org, or just visit www.iipgh.org, and then you can fill in your particulars. Somebody will get back to you, and you can go through the process and become a member. So this has been one of our webinars we organize from time to time, and I'm sure the next one is in the pipeline, which will be communicated to us all. Thank you all for joining. My name is Juliana Ametowogo. I happen to be the director for IIPGH Women. So we have the women's wing. If there are ladies here who have joined IIPGH or would like to join IIPGH, please join and come join the women's wing for some really good times. Okay. Until next time, we will call it a night. But let me just say a huge thank you to the organizers, everyone who has played a role in making this webinar a success. I say thank you so much. And to our speakers, thank you so much. God bless you. We call it a night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Bye.
Bye.